Well, it is another fantastic sunny day and we're out and about on the Brompton T Line. Now, of course, this is a new bike that I've just got, and so it's a bit like a new toy, of course, and that's why I want to get out and about on it, particularly with the weather being as sunny as it is right now. So we're going to go on a bit of a ride. Maybe drop into a local bike shop. I need some new gloves, so going to be doing that. There are one or two other bikers out and about on the bike trails here in West Yorkshire, some walkers, and as I say, look at that sky. The odd fluffy cloud here and there, but generally speaking, it is one perfect day to get out and about on the bike. So let's do it. And so far so good. I've had the Brompton since only yesterday, and seems to be fine. Maybe a couple of things that I would like to change on the bike. One would be these purple, they call them touch points. Hi there. Somebody out there doing their exercise. It's almost like being in California. Actually very rare for people to get out and about. He was also filming himself. I don't know if he was doing it live, but it's interesting these days how many people are doing social media things. Of course, you could go live out here. Should do that on a few cycle runs. Bit of a hill coming up here now, and in the lowest gear, but we'll soon get out of breath, I'm sure. It's one of those sort of long, slow but kind of painful inclines. And of course, if you are an avid cycler, this would be nothing for you to cycle up here. But for the rest of us, it's hard work. Actually, it wasn't too bad, that. A little bit out of breath. But there are times, I think, on previous Bromptons where I might have had to take a break halfway up that bank, so maybe the T-line is lighter. That's what's doing it. Probably quite a bit of pollen in the air as well, so if there are people who suffer from allergies, hay fever, that kind of thing, I'm sure this sort of weather and being outdoors is probably less popular. But I am getting used to cycling with one hand at the minute and filming with the other, which is probably not a brilliant idea, because you never know who's coming around that next corner, or whether you have to fire off your bell or pull your brakes. So I am going to have to get my action cameras, get one set up on the helmet. Busy crossing coming up, so we'll pause it here. Well, just in a little bit of shade here on the cycle path, and it is kind of nice and cooler in this little bit. It is a weekday and you can hear the traffic in the background now as the rush hour comes along. One or two cyclists out and about on their bikes today. At the weekend, these paths around here in Yorkshire are usually very busy with walkers as well as cyclists, but today my mission was to go and a bit more of a ride on the Brompton T Line and get a little side mirror, a little bar end mirror, because whenever I'm riding on the roads I often think the traffic is such that you just have to be very careful, and any sort of help you can get, whether it's little mirror or whatever, so you can just see what's going on behind you, is really, really helpful. So I'm going to carry on cycling. We'll get past that junction there and then I'll pick back up with the video once we get a little bit further on. And along this cycle route there are some nicer areas and then some pretty rough areas. You go through some pretty rough housing estate kind of areas. Of course it sort of depends which direction you choose further on. This bit is nice and sort of just rural and in the countryside, but then maybe you get like another couple of miles, 3 or 4 miles further on, and you kind of in different areas like Batley and so on, and just go through some of the streets there. There's old sofas and furniture and rubbish thrown out. It's just a complete mess, which does just spoil the whole kind of atmosphere really. Much nicer yesterday up in York where there was none of that. But very nice area here. I'm just going to have to make sure it doesn't go flying down that very, very steep drop down there. But fantastic views here in York. But I am absolutely shattered now. Coming up to about a 28 kilometre run. It'll be about 35 by the time I've finished today, which is enough for me because I'm not doing that much cycling, so I'm not particularly fit. Brompton T Line, certainly tell it's lighter, particularly going uphill, but obviously it's not electric in any way, so you're not getting any assistance. It is all just pedal power. I'm going to be careful going downhill here using just my left hand to brake. So that's just the back wheel. So yes, not far off getting back home now. Just been out for this fairly decent runabout on the Brompton T Line Ceratech 12 speed. Everything seems to be working fine. I have been asking questions about these, what they call touch points, these purple kind of clamp spinners and triggers and so on, and seeing if I could make them just black like the ones that come with just the standard T-line, the blasted titanium look T-line, not the Ceratech. And I think they call this a special or something with these purple touches. And I'm just not sure that I like that. I think because the whole design of it is more of a sort of a sleek, minimalist look with the carbon and with the sort of black the silver, the titanium and the Ceratech coating, then to suddenly have these purple spots just look a little bit overdone, a bit shouty, a bit in your face. I think it would look a lot nicer, a lot more balanced if it just had black ones, or at least if they gave you the option to buy them on the P line, for example. You can get these colourway options of silver or red or gold or pink or whatever. But for this bike, for the T line, apparently not. We do have these problems that we have to live with. So I went online, having thought today more and more about the purple touch points on the Brompton T Line with the Ceratech, some sort of special edition. And maybe some people like the purple touch points, but for me, I didn't like them. And so I have two options really. One is I can buy the clamp set and the trigger and the seat post clamp set for the standard T line, and I can just use those as part of the kit and change them over, remove the purple ones and put the black ones on, which is essentially what I'm trying to get to. And then I could put the silver wheels on, or the black plastic wheels, so I could get the silver wheels that will go with the P line or the C line as part of the touch points kit, and or I could get the black plastic ones that come with the standard Brompton T line blasted titanium version and not this Ceratech special version. Which am I going to do? Don't know. But in the meantime, I have just hand painted with a brush this clamp here. So I've done it with a Daytona grey, which is the same as my Range Rover colour, and then I brush stroked it along these lines to try and make it look like it's brushed aluminium. A highlight in there of the purple, I'm not too bothered about that. It's just a standout absolute purple colour that I didn't like. So anyway, I'll still keep thinking. I might still end up just buying the black ones on the website, or I might stick with these to save some cash.